Thank you for joining me today for this webinar. This is a part of our masterclass series on coaching the whole athlete. My name is Erin. I am the Education Services Manager at TrainHeroic. And this series that we're hosting right now, this Coaching the Whole Athlete series, is on how to creatively leverage the platform to provide some support and resources to your clients and athletes on things outside of the weight room that are probably impacting their performance in the weight room. So this is a four-part series that we're hosting live right now for the remainder of this month. And the first chapter is on using the data from the readiness survey. The second chapter is on programming in your rest and recovery sessions. The third chapter was on providing some nutritional guidance. And today we'll touch on how you can provide some support for mental health. So if you have not been able to attend the first three chapters, you won't be behind today or anything like that, but I do highly recommend you check out those other three chapters. You can find the schedule of all of the live webinars that we're hosting right now at trainheroic.com/webinars. You can also find on that page the previous unit that we hosted, which was more on getting your account set up. So some account architecture, rolling the platform out to your clientele, and working on some client retention. The recordings for those webinars are also at trainheroic.com/webinars. So you just scroll down to the bottom of the page there and you'll find those there. And we also recently started our first athlete series webinar. So if you have some athletes that you think would benefit from taking a little bit deeper dive into the platform and why it's important to log their training, point them in that direction. We'd love to have them on that webinar. So like I said, for today, we are going to be talking about how you can provide some support for mental health to your clients and athletes that you're training through TrainHeroic. So we'll talk about why you should be supporting them for their mental health, how it's going to help them with sport performance, fostering a mindset of positivity, coping with any kind of life stressors that are going on in their life, and also recovering from injury and failure. So the importance of mental health and having a positive mindset is becoming more widely recognized in exercise and sport. So obviously, definitely in sport, and I think it's becoming more well known in just general exercise for the general population. But a person's attitude is going to have major impacts on their outlook, their motivation, and even just their productivity in the weight room towards their goals. So when you're looking at kind of providing this support and resources for coaching the whole athlete beyond their strength training programming, it's key to make sure that you really are including some resources and some help and support when it comes to mental health. This will help them with, you can provide them some resources on improving like any kind of mental skills, improving their mindset, and this will help them both inside and outside of the weight room. Mentalhealth.gov has a little definition here on what mental health is, and mental health includes our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we think, feel, and act. It also helps determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make choices. So we'll dive in first on some reasons why you should be supporting mental health for your clients and athletes. And first and foremost, especially if you're working with athletes, sports performance is going to be a major one. So I'm sure we've all heard the quote from Michael Jordan, "Why would I think about missing a shot I haven't taken?" So sport performance has a huge mental aspect in it. It's argued that 75% of it is mental. So why would you not provide any kind of support or coaching or education to your client or athlete to help them with their mental health and to be in these situations? So this will obviously apply more maybe to your athletes who you have on sports teams or athletes who are going into maybe they are in an individual sport like they're power lifters or weight lifters and they have competitions coming up. But it's important to help coach them to be in the appropriate mindset for a particular competition, or if they're in a game against a tough opponent or anything like that. So if you can help them work on mental skills like self-talk, having positive self-talk, visualization, and even goal setting, and then working on maybe some techniques like breath work or even meditation to help them manage nerves and kind of set expectations for that upcoming competition. So in day-to-day training and day-to-day practice, your athletes are probably not going to have the opportunity to really experience or be in that situation of high stress that they might be when they're in a competition. So if you can provide them some resources and support to help coach them and prepare them for those situations, they'll be better prepared for when those situations arise to respond appropriately to the stress and nerves that they might be feeling in that competition so that it doesn't overwhelm them and doesn't negatively impact their performance. So, another reason why you should be supporting mental health for your clients and athletes is to help them foster a mindset of positivity. So, regardless if you're working with athletes, like we just spoke on the previous slide, or if you have private personal training clients that are more general population, fostering a mindset of positivity is going to help them approach their training more intentionally and be more accountable to it. It will help them with providing some productive goal setting and aid in motivation and dedication to those goals. So if they have a positive outlook on that goal that they're going for and that they feel, more confident that they can achieve it, chances are they're going to be able to achieve it better. So a positive mindset is going to help them realize their full potential. So you'll be able to set better goals for them. You'll maybe be able to set goals for them that they would never dreamed of. But if they're in that positive mindset, they're going to feel more confident and they're going to work harder and be more productive in the weight room, as well as outside of the weight room as well. And making sure that overall their lifestyle and habits are heading them in the correct direction for their goals. So another reason to provide some support with mental health is to help your clients and athletes cope with life stress. So making sure that they feel in a place to properly handle and cope with the stress of their life, whether it's family stress or work stress, or maybe there's an injury or they just got a lot on their plate with projects at work or school even. If you're able to provide some resources for them to help them with managing this stress and coping with it, it'll help them reduce their anxiety and obviously their stress levels, which will help them with improving their focus and productivity. It can also help them shift to an attitude of more gratitude. So, kind of like on our previous slide, we just discussed fostering a mindset of positivity. You can help them shift their mindset from, being overwhelmed and stressed and a lot on their plate and, oh my gosh, I have to go to the gym today, to on top of it, you can help them change that mindset to, I get to go to the gym today. I get to go get a hard training session in and sweat out some of this stress and feel better afterwards. So if you can help provide them with some resources and techniques to help kind of like cope and deal with that stress, they're going to be better off. They're going to be more productive. They're going to be more focused, and they'll be headed better in the right direction of their goals. And then finally, this might not apply to everyone, but if you have clients who are maybe recovering from an injury, or if you do have athletes that you're working with and they recently did poorly in a competition or they lost a really important game, recovering from injury and failure is very important. It's very important to help educate your clients and support them so that they can stay and hopefully maintain that mindset of positivity and gratitude, and they can learn from either the injury that they just suffered or maybe the loss that they just went through. So instead of these injuries and failures feeling like some sort of huge obstacle that's in their way between them and their goals, they're never going to get there. It feels like a huge setback. If you can provide them some support and some coaching on developing mental skills to kind of stay in a good mindset, stay positive, deal with that stress, cope with that stress, that will help them kind of win that mindset battle that they have going on in their head with dealing with this setback. And it'll help them stay on track and not dig themselves further into, a worse, deeper hole that's going to set them even further back from their goal. So if you can help them with making sure that that comeback from the setback is even stronger by encouraging them to work on having positive self-talk, having them visualize them, returning to play from that injury, or visualize what they're maybe going to do different in their next competition. And then also even just improving that goal setting. So maybe you need to rearrange the goals a little bit based on whatever's going on. But rearranging them and setting maybe those smaller step goals so that it seems more manageable with this setback to keep going in the right direction for their big overarching goal that they have. So in Train Heroic, there are a couple of ways that you're going to be able to provide some support for mental health to your clients and athletes. And one of your major opportunities is to leverage TH Chat. TH Chat is our messaging system where you can directly communicate with your athlete or client and have that private conversation between you and them about whatever's going on in their life. If it's stress, if it's an injury or anything like that, have that open communication channel. And what you can do is obviously, share a lot of resources in there. So anything that can be hyperlinked can be shared in TH Chat. So if you have links to books or podcasts that you want them to listen to, or maybe a meditation app that you'd like them to try, or maybe you have articles on visualization or articles on self-talk, or and how it relates to sport performance or things like that. Anything that can be hyperlinked can be shared in TH Chat to your client or athlete so they have access to that information. You can also share things like PDFs as long as they can be hyperlinked, and Google Docs. So if you have like a Google Doc set up for maybe some sort of mood diary or a mindset diary or just some general journaling, and you want to have them share some of those things with you, you can set that up in a Google Doc and share it, hyperlink it into TH Chat for them to access. Another way you can kind of work in some support for mental health is to create custom circuits and sessions. So I mentioned briefly breath work on an earlier slide, and meditation are both really great techniques for you to help support your client's mental health. Both of them you can program in to their strength training program or as a separate session using our circuit function. So I'm sure you've noticed the circuit is more of a text box option where you can list instructions for a routine or anything like that. So it's just text that you can type out. So if I wanted to create, if I was looking at breath work, so breath work is a great technique for you to use with your clients to create a physiological or even an emotional shift by manipulating the breath. So to maybe calm some nerves, maybe get them in a more relaxed state. Especially if you've got like maybe an athlete who has a major competition coming up, or maybe you do have a client who is really under a lot of stress right now at work because of a major project due. If you can program in these breathwork routines, you can do that through the circuit function. And you can either put that maybe like say at the end of a session. It's like, hey, that's part of their cool down. We're going to go through this breathwork routine. That's your cool down before you head out for the day from the gym. So programming those in as a circuit will allow you to have the kind of flexibility really to just type whatever it is that you need. With circuits, you can attach videos as long as they exist as an exercise in your library before you attach it to the circuit. So if the video is maybe, for example, for breath work, maybe it's the whole breath work routine. It's like a little 10-minute routine. You have that full video. If it's created as an exercise first, you can attach it to this circuit. And they can read through the instructions that you have typed, but they could also open the video and just follow along with it. Once you've created these circuits, you can save them to your library. And then they're saved. They're there. You don't have to type it up from scratch every single time you want to use it. You can just grab it from your library, plug it in on your client or athlete's calendar, and you're good to go. So Same thing with meditation, looking at meditation. So leverage that circuit function there, where you can type in the full routine. You can attach a video for the full routine for them to follow along. Or if it's several little videos for like multiple exercises or anything like that, you can also attach those as well. Again, meditation though is going to be more on kind of clearing the mind. And maybe this would be helpful for them getting their day started, or maybe you want to put it, at the end of the day so that they can calm down and be in a more relaxed state as they get ready for bed or anything like that. So this technique will help them kind of clear their mind. You can program it in wherever is going to be most helpful for that athlete or client. And again, once you've typed it all out, attach whatever videos that you want, related to that. You can save the whole thing to your library, and then it'll be there and saved and stored for you to use and reuse in the future. So the goal is to really build out as robust of a custom library as you can. So then it's there, it's created, and you have a lot of opportunities for variety in providing these resources for them in their programming. If you want, you can create these in as their own kind of session. So for example, maybe if my client needs some morning meditation when they first wake up and they don't hit the gym till later in the day, I can program their meditation, their kind of wake up routine, as its own separate session in the morning, and then later program in on their calendar their strength training session later in the day. So creating these custom sessions, creating these custom circuits are great ways for you to just build out that library and have a lot of opportunity to program resources onto their calendar for them to complete.